Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the What the Football channel. This is the BH and Scrubber Show. And on today's show, we are going to be previewing the Commanders versus Atlanta game. It will be in Atlanta. And also, just another footnote is that here on this channel, we do a play-by-play live stream show where I call the play-by-play, give you some instant reactions to what I see going on onto the field. If you don't get the game, come here, listen to me call it. It's a lot of fun. If you do get the game, turn the volume down, come here anyways, and listen to me call it. It's a lot of fun. I scream, I yell, I cry, I say all the things that you want to hear. So that's in Atlanta. They got a full stadium. They've actually been doing pretty good. So we got a challenge ahead for us. And today on our show, to help us with what that challenge is going to be and what we can do about that challenge, is our boy BH. Welcome, BH.
Thanks, man. Yeah. I'm glad we can finally move on from last week's debacle and we start focusing on Atlanta. So I guess just quickly on the injury front, I think we ought to do a little housekeeping there. I mean, the big surprise was, the two safeties out basically for the year. Although I think it was who they might be able to be designated to come back after 4 weeks. Not Jeremy Reeves, but Derek Forrest, but maybe both of them. I'm not sure how that's supposed to work, but we're without him and losing Jeremy Reeves too on special teams, which already, on coverages, they were a little suspect anyway.
Yep.
So but looking at it there, they had a couple guys dinged up and they all went full practice. And I guess the only one for us is Christian Holmes. So he's questionable. He probably will be there. And then he's listed as out. And then Efe Obata, who came back from his IR designation. I guess they have a 21-day window open to where I think after 21 days, you either put them on the roster or you have to IR them for the rest of the season. So I think they waited a little bit on Fedarian. So maybe they're not 100% ready because once they bring them in, they have 21 days to make a decision. I think they'd like Fedarian to be 100% healthy or at least believe that he'd be healthy within 21 days. So anyway, I think both teams overall, looking pretty good. Can't complain too much at this point in the season.
Right on. No, we're healthy.
But they're let's talk about their offense going against our defense. Really, admittedly, the defense was surprisingly ineffective against Chicago. As a matter of fact, looked a little lost in all sections almost. So, but I think that can change. I think they can step up. They have the talent. But let's talk about Atlanta's offense. And looking at them, they're always slated as a big run team. Their coach, Arthur Smith, came from Indy, big run guy. But really, if you look at the numbers, actually, they're a lot more balanced than you think. They mix it up fairly good, So, and they have talent across the board, a great running back, and then a wide receiver in Drake London and the tight end Kyle Pitts. Now, the thing that's been going on there, I'm kind of critical of this guy a little bit. And I have been, Arthur Smith, that he's just not using, and a lot of people are saying it, not using his stars quite enough. He kind of rotates everybody, but, he's got a method to his madness. And in last week, we kind of saw more of an introduction of Kyle Pitts and Drake London. So that's not good for us because it seems like they're kind of stepping up. Desmond Ritter, their quarterback, who was not bad, but average to below average. Now he's starting to find his game. So this will present a challenge. All these guys, they're really good. And then you put all that together with a really good O-line. That's a real good offensive line. Rankings wise, they're 13 to 14 teams higher than our offensive line. So they're pretty tough. So I just feel like I think we're going to be challenged. I think they're going to challenge us in the run game, make us stop them. And they've shown now that they're not a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
So they're not afraid to throw. So, but I think they early. I wouldn't be surprised if they say, "Hey, we're going to challenge you guys
Yeah.
at home on the ground with our great O line, and see if you guys can step up." So
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
Well, as to the challenging part, especially knowing that Reeves and Derek Forrest are out, and then you're going to have to put maybe Quan in there, and then you got Percy Butler, still pretty young, still pretty new, and then if you're going to,
Yep.
keep Forbes out there, now you got three young guys out there, and then they're going to attack Forbes. So what do? Do you put Danny Johnson in there instead of Forbes? Ouch. So there's a lot that the defense needs to be aware of. They use that Kyle Pitts guy. He's a big body dude. He's big. And same with what's the other guy's name? London.
London.
So he's a big body guy
Yeah.
too, and he can catch the ball. They're 50-50 guys. They're going to exploit our middle with that, which I think they can do. Uh, that's going to be tough. It comes down to, can our O line get pressure on Ritter and make him make mistakes? But they also do on their offense. They do not tricky plays, but they do enough to keep you guessing at what they're doing. Like you said, they distribute the ball evenly, which is what I like in a team, in an offense. I don't care about one guy getting, you know, 15 catches. That's okay if they can do that, but I like distributing the ball and moving the ball downfield. So our defense is pretty challenged there. You got to watch out for their guy, B Rob, which is funny to me. So
I
yeah,
know.
but they did really good. The one thing, their schedule is kind of like ours for the first 5 games, but where they persevered, we did not. Their first 2 games were against the Panthers and the Packers, and so they won those 2 games just barely, but they won them just like we did our first 2 games.
Yeah.
The second 2 games were against the Lions and the Jags. Now you could see them losing to those teams, and they did. And they lost kind of badly against those 2 teams. And we lost against the 2 harder, the Bills and Eagles that we went up against. But now on the 5th week, when we were supposed to win against the Bears, we did not. And when it came to them up against the Texans, they persevered and they won. So that's the difference. They wanted it
Yeah.
more on that particular day, and where we dropped the ball, they did not. So kudos to them for doing that. So now they're 3-2, and we are 2-3. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
also too the defense is going to help them, do good things as well. They got a good defense. So anything else on the offense? On their offense we need to
Um,
talk about?
no, I mean I think like you said, man, they'll spread the pain around, and to your point, I mean Percy Butler is the starting free safety now, so he's
Mm-hmm.
going to be out there a lot. He's got to step up, and then like you said, Quan Martin's going to have to get in there and play, and and then the big decision, because there was talk of benching Forbes, so and it's kind of sad because I mean I felt like Forbes was out there against Philadelphia. Guy weighs 170,
Mm-hmm.
and they had him almost. It seemed unless Philadelphia was scheming at him, but who was the receiver that just destroyed
AJ
him?
Brown. AJ Brown for the
Yeah,
Eagles.
and I mean the guy's 220, and so I don't know if we could have done a better job. I mean, a 50-pound difference, maybe rolled Ben St. Just over there,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe not, because people forget, Forbes was an outside corner. He was not, even though he's a small guy, he didn't play slot, so his skill set is suited towards outside. It's not as
Mm-hmm.
easy as saying, "Well, you're a little guy, you go play slot." So it's a big. I don't think it'd be a bad thing to bench him, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
Just because if that kills your confidence, well, then you're not ready for the NFL. And a lot of guys have been benched early in their
Mm-hmm.
career when they were young. It happened. A lot of really good guys got sat down and said, "Hey, take a breather and just watch and learn and get a feel for the game without any pressure." So anyway, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I feel a little behind the 8 ball. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's all I got. But yeah, I think it'll be challenging. They're up and coming. Their arrow is pointing up.
Yeah. Yep. I think the thing too with Forbes is that we've been doing a little bit of man kind of press, kind of stuff like that. And that's not him. So he's more of that's just not his thing. And so he needs a little bit of
Yeah.
help. But also too against the Bears, Fuller was getting torched as well. So there's just something ultimately going on with that group. And one more thing about
Yeah.
Atlanta's offense, they got Cordarrelle Patterson back, and so he's always just had his way with us too. So yeah,
Yeah. Good deal. So what do you get from their defense?
they got a good defense.
Going to
Yeah, they got a good
Yeah.
run stop defense. They got a couple good safeties in there. Uh,
Yep.
Linebackers aren't bad. Their D line isn't bad. So it's really they do like a lot of man press. They'll blitz on you. Like I said, they got a good run stop. So EB's going to have to
Yeah.
figure something out to get around that. And speaking of EB, I thought he called a good game against the Eagles, but then kind of switched up the game a little bit against the Bears and just like stopped running the ball and didn't do a lot of screens. And I think you need to get back to that, especially against Atlanta. I think you're going down to the dirty South there, and you gotta switch it up a little bit. I think part of the issues that are going on with our team is we're just too predictable. Going back to the coaches and stuff like that. Sometimes you get to be a dinosaur, and your stuff just isn't working anymore. And so I think they need to get off the man coverage a little bit. I mean, and like with Del Rio, and I think Coach Ron needs to step up a little more and get in there a little harder. And also too, we talked about coaches last week. I went through all of the assistant coaches that we have, and it's pretty weak. I mean, it's pretty freaking weak. I mean, coach brought them in, and these guys are only just been in a couple years, maybe, and they worked at high schools, and they just came out of college and maybe played one game of pro or something, and went straight to being coaches. And I don't like that one bit. So I think maybe some of the problems with the offense
Yeah.
it could be some of the coaching issues, everybody not being on the same page with EB, them not coaching the guys to EB's plan or something like that. And so I don't see it as exactly EB's fault, but I see it as a totality of all the coaches. And so they need to coach up that offense.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of agree with that because EB just came in and was plugged in. So
Mhm.
he didn't have a say with assistants and stuff like that. So yeah, there is something to that. But he does have to. I mean, we got to run the ball a little more, man. That just kills your offensive line if they have to go into pass set after pass set after pass set. It's just not sustainable to be doing that. Now
Yeah.
they do play a 3-4-D, and
Yeah.
they've got they got some good players. Bud Dupree, he's a good edge rusher. He's a little long in the tooth, but he's still really good. He's
Hmm.
not bad. And their DBs and their safeties, man, they're really going good. AJ Terrell, especially. So they do
Hmm.
have Jeff Okuda, who came from the Lions. He was like a number 3 pick in the entire draft for them. Talk about a disappointment. And he just never quite got it. Now he's serviceable and he's pretty good, but that's a guy I think we can go after
Yeah.
because he's not that great. But our offense, Sam just continues to do good. He did have that the awful game against Buffalo, but since then he's stepped up in the next 2 games and did quite well. Cut back on the turnovers and he's just looking really good. He's basically a rookie, man. That's the
Yeah.
only way to look at it. I know he was there last year, but he only played one game. It's the last game of the season, and it's a whole new offense.
Yeah.
So everyone says, hey, he did learn a lot. You learn a lot as a rookie, no matter what. When you're being on a roster, sideline or what, you learn a ton about the NFL. So that's good. But man, he came in the summer and just like everybody had a whole new playbook,
Mhm.
all new language, all new everything, all new systems. So I really see him as a rookie. And gosh, after this many games, I still like what I see from him.
Mhm.
But boy, let's hope that EB gets more creative and
Yeah.
does the things we were talking about. It doesn't have to all be flash, but come on, man, let's see some plays where we dictate to them how our pass and our screen game's going to go,
Yes.
and how we're going to put our best players in the best position,
Yes.
to beat these guys, man. I want to see it. And I really do hope that they can be more creative on offense.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and we did, Sam's still holding on to the ball a little bit, but like you said, when
Yep.
you're running 55 pass plays, you're also gassing the receivers. I mean, how many times can you run out for a pass 55 freaking times and run at full speed and you're starting to be, no good after a while. You can't maintain 100% too late in the game like that. And getting behind is another thing too. We can't afford to get behind, but everybody fucking says that. We all know that. You can't get behind. So
Yeah,
I think against
I know.
Atlanta, I think we can get ahead of the sticks, get ahead of the chains, get down there and score some points and finally give yourself some relief in the game. Be ahead. Not that you can breeze, but not have to. I think that happens to our team, any team, all the time. Is you start getting this anxiety. Oh shit, we're down by 10. Oh shit, we're down by 13. And now you start doing things that you're not supposed to be doing. You forget your discipline. You forget your assignment. You're just not clean thinking when you're behind by 13 points. And so that's why it's so crucial to get ahead. And Sam needs to get rid of the fucking ball. That's all there is to it on that one, too. I know he's been good, but 5 more sacks last week against a team that hardly got any. These teams with no sacks
I
are
know.
fucking killing us. You know what I'm saying? So, but he has been good about dumping the ball, uh, when he needs to. And although he's running, he needs to slide a little bit more. But there were some times when he really needed to run, so I could see why he stayed up and not slide. But he needs to do that a little more. And even though you say, oh, he only took 5 sacks, he was still taking hits too. They got to stop
Yep.
that. That's just going to
Yeah.
beat that kid up, and he's going to be mangled by the end of the season. He's going to be worthless. So
Yeah.
yeah, they need to. I would say, you see a lot of teams get 6-man block, 7-man block. That's what we need to do. Get in there, just
Yeah.
run 3 receivers out there.
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
agree.
Get 9 men on the fucking line or 8 men on the fucking line blocking and just send 3 people out. Give him a second to hit some of them guys. And another thing I noticed about him, last thing on Howell, is he's kind of like how Russell Wilson is. He kind of waits for a receiver to be open. You kind of can't do that. You got to throw
Yeah.
the ball where it's supposed to be. Don't just because he's side by side with that guy, he's breaking from that guy. So you need to lead him a little bit and dump it where it's supposed to be instead of waiting for, oh, now he's open and throw the ball. So I see that as an issue with his holding on to the ball too long, too.
Yeah, I do. And I think small things like giving him a design run, just
Yes.
let him, go back and, skew everybody, run routes to the right, and let him just sneak out, get a 6.5 yard run out of bounds,
Hmm.
just to throw it in them guys and let him throw some deep balls. I mean, stretch that field with some plays, man.
Yes.
Make those guys cover side to side and deep. I feel like we shrink our field with dink and
Yeah.
dunk passes
Uh-huh.
and then just not enough to the sideline.
Well,
You got to really stretch that out. And yeah, he is doing better. But man, he really does. It's funny. He does kind of wait and wait and wait. He's still young,
mhm.
but man, like you said, he's gonna be pretty beat up by the end of the season. So let's just see if he can improve on that. I would love to see our running backs get into this game
Yes.
and get our O line road grading a little bit,
Yeah.
and really push those guys around.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see that because they're going to work. They like to control the clock. They play a lot like us. They want to
Mhm.
control the clock and play D. Kind of similar teams in that regard, and similar in terms of running and passing,
Yeah.
pretty much in the middle. Although they are a pretty good run stopping team.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we'll see.
Yeah.
And
And then,
it's in the dome
oh,
on
nice.
turf. So
Yeah.
yeah, no complaints. Come on, there's no 17-mile-an-hour wind, no sun in your
Yeah.
eyes. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Just one last thing too is on our special teams. like we talked about earlier in the show here, we talked about how, our gunners, who are our gunners now. Thought it used to be either Christian Holmes and Jeremy Reeves and maybe Quan in there every now and then.
Yeah,
So who's
Quan
it going to
has
be
been in.
now? So that's both of our guys that are not gunners, and they weren't doing all, in my opinion, not doing how when we used to have Cam Sims running down there, and the other one was Troy Apke or somebody like that. Them guys were
Yeah,
dogs, man. They were all over it.
yeah.
And so we don't
And
need no more
Reeves,
mess ups from Joey. And I still think Tress has been doing pretty good. So I think our special teams, we'll have to look for that on Sunday. So. Yeah.
yeah, Reeves was, I think he was the AFC represent or the NFC representative on the Pro Bowl last year. I think he represented us
Nice.
as a special teams player for the Pro Bowl. So he was really good.
Yeah.
So, then all of a sudden, yeah, like who's, like you said, Quan Martin's going to have down there. They promoted Terrell Burgess. Danny is still there, a guy like Tariq Castro Fields, but it'll be interesting. So it'll be interesting to see let's look out who's the gunners in this game and what's going on with Emmanuel Forbes. Is he going to start or not? And then once again, let's keep an eye on our buddy Cody Barton, who his struggles are well documented.
Yeah.
He's pretty challenged out there. So he's just got to give it. The coaches believe in him. Jack Del Rio kind of got into it with a reporter who was pretty hot. Having to defend Cody Barton. The reporter was an idiot, asked real weird, open-ended questions, and it's our buddy Ben Standig from The Athletic, so it's not surprising. The guy's a shit stirrer. But I think Coach, his response wasn't good. He bristled too much. He had to know the question was coming, so he should have been a little more ready. But the guy asked it really open-ended, really, the guy is, it's the first time I ever heard that guy talk, Ben Standig. I always see his written stuff, and he's a garbage guy. Let me just tell you that. He's a clickbait guy. He really is, man. I swear I could do a show and document it. I've written it all down. He needs to do that because The Athletic is subscriptions only. So The Athletic lives. I know they have some advertising, but they got to get clicks. And he did a lot of stirring up on Deron Payne back in the day, saying he quit during practice and he's going to get traded before the draft. He pulled it all out of his butt and it never happened. He said, and he's the worst. So anyway, the coach did not respond well, but he did defend Cody and say, he's out there and he likes what he's doing. And we'll see. But Cody's got to get better, man.
Yeah, we don't do clickbait shit here.
All right.
You come and watch our show whenever you
want.
No,
we don't do that.
At least we're not the Denver Broncos,
That's
right?
It.
Did you see that freaking Dallas game the other night? Fucking, they got their ass stomped. So we can, there's still hope for us. They did. We're still doing good. There's really what you want is you want the Eagles to run away with it. We're not going to catch them. So what you want them to do is eat up all the wins. Yep. That's what you want in your division. You want one person to run away with the fucking division, except for when you play them. But they need to beat Dallas both times and New York both times, and we need to at least split with Dallas and beat New York. So we're still in this. It's not out of the realm. We always do good to the middle of the season. Let's hope they got their shit together and block out. We're not naysayers here. Our team needs to block out that bullshit they're hearing from everybody else. We're not clickbait. We love our team. We think that they got a chance to do well, and so we're not going to ride them too hard. We want them to do better, but we're going to call it when we see it. But we're not going to clickbait your ass. So thanks, everybody.
Nope.
Yeah, come and see us on Sunday.
Yeah, I'll be in the chat. So let's do it. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. So thanks, BH. Great show as always, man. We'll see you Sunday.
All right, man. Good job.